Yes, good evening, everyone. Um, this is the second part on the restrictions for the alcohol is being lifted that I would like to continue talking about. The Commissioner of Police, Milton Daisy, came out to speak about how they want to address the alcohol situation. And for somebody who like me, who's not an alcoholic, when I sit down and I listen to the way that they want to enforce the alcohol laws, I seen there's no way that people are going to follow through considering you living in St. Lucia and you don't really have the technology and stuff to make sure that people is practicing what exactly you want to do. So let's get to the point. He started by saying if people is buying the alcohol, they cannot drink it in the store. I understand that, but he's saying they cannot drink it on the streets. Right now, they you even before y'all implemented that law, people on the streets drinking, enjoying themselves. So when y'all want to implement that kind of law, you're gonna have the officers being very troublesome in a way, especially like I already tell you, when they meet people they're already not dealing with, that only going to escalate things even worse. So the next thing that he spoke about was if you buy a drink when you're at home, you cannot bring no crowd or people around you so you can enjoy your rum. So all nowadays people practice that same thing when they're there with their friends. They drink, they enjoy themselves because they at their home. So none of the things that you want to enforce has never been enforced during the quarantine for the whole of this year. So I'm just saying that I would like your officers to continue to practice protecting and serving us. I really appreciate all what y'all have done for not shooting and killing our citizens for misbehavior. But understand that when people under the influence, they have less control of themselves. So when I monitor the fact where y'all want to implement those laws, I'm wondering, do y'all prisons and stuff have space to hold people for alcohol charges? Because I heard you speak about you can take 6 months prison or pay $1,000 charge. When I look at somebody who's drinking alcohol, you think that person, when you have that mindset of having $1,000 charge on his head, you think that going to relieve the stress that the people going through right now there? Or thinking about prison, if the officers, for instance, he don't like the people that are around and they arrest them people. A day I got arrested by Ian in the Richford station. When you go in those places, in the hospital, in the station, the prison in the station, those places don't really have space to say, well, you can social distance yourself and not get the individual infected, during the time of your arrest, so all during these past few months there, I people wasn't even underneath the influence of alcohol, and I saw y'all arrest so many people. So if you have to imagine, you start to arrest people for the law that y'all want to put in for that alcohol stuff. The best thing I can tell y'all, if you meet somebody drinking alcohol on the street or whatever, try to talk to that person and just move along, because government have to manage the spending when it comes to diesel and servicing and stuff. So when you're out there, just try not to use too much of your energy trying to make people straight, because with the virus that going on there, nothing will be straight in the life, you understand? So try your best to fulfill your duties and try to make it back home to your loved ones without having any of the particles on your clothes, so you don't get your loved ones sick. Because with that, with the laws and stuff you're trying to enforce there, y'all will be interacting with a lot of people, and I would really like to see our officers safe on the front lines, especially with people providing um, the shield for the face. That is another very good thing. I'm advising people to go on YouTube. You can learn how to make your own face shield. You don't have to be law enforcement only that have it. We all have to protect ourselves in the best way that we can. But by listening to our leaders, they still haven't come up with a proper solution for you know having alcohol on the streets. And when I look at the amount of stress the emergency services will have to go through for just freeing up alcohol, and the cost and the consequences, you can test it out to see how it works, but if you see it's not working, it's just you just leave it without it. So everything is all right, and then y'all don't have to deal with that kind of stress, because what y'all trying to implement there, this is St. Lucia, man. You know, people ain't gonna never listen to what y'all saying there. And another thing about the body camp is another good thing, you know. But you see, in St. Lucia, everything is nenen and power, whether it's police officers, custom officers, doctors, politicians, is nenen and power. So the fact that y'all, you know, will want to fulfill those duties when the officers and the people meet their friends, you know, everybody get treated in different ways. So it's just a very funny thing that will be going on in the next few days, and I will be monitoring it, and I will keep on, you know, uploading videos to give you an update as to what's going on in St. Lucia. So we're here in Paradise, and our leaders, our emergency services people are trying their best, but you know, it's not everything that they want to do will always go as planned. So it's all trials from here on. So what is the next topic that I would like to talk about? Um, I also didn't hear him say anything about, you know, the gambling machines and stuff, since he says he has not gotten all of the information and stuff. So let him get his things together, and eventually he's going to come back on GIS and explain everything, and then whatever you don't get to listen to here, I will come out and explain it to you, and I'll also post it in the comment below so you can see what's going on. So people, let's help our law and enforcement to keep the peace. Make sure y'all continue to be on your best behavior, because you know they letting the public know, you know, when it comes to threats and stuff, they're not going to accept it. And you know, officers in St. Lucia, they don't have anything except for live rounds to, you know, protect themselves. So if you're out there threatening them people, it's obviously they're gonna be looking for you. So whatever that happened there, if they can try to put it behind their back and continue forward, it's, I don't know if they're going to, but it's best to try and follow through with that, because the way things go in there, a lot of the things that is happening in these times, we just have to try our best and put it behind us and move forward, as long as nobody do die, nobody do get injured, and people is fulfilling their duties. So people, you know, during the time of the COVID virus is spreading, the people saying they don't want any partying, they don't want people playing loud music like in car and stuff, because people want to know what is going on in the environment and in the country. So make sure you try your best to do whatever you have to do. And for the emergency services, remember, if they have a fire, they have a lot of mad people them days there. I don't know if it's the the devil that inside of these mad people mind. These people are staying and just lighting bushes on fire, and they don't have a drop of water wherever they dare to say they can put the fire out. And they already have how many bushes burn? I mean, if they already have bushes burning in a certain area, try to use that place to grow crops. How are they just burning bushes everywhere, giving the fire services a whole bunch of work to do. So I'm just letting you know, if you see there's a fire going on, try to put the fire out, because when houses burn down, ain't nowhere for you to stay. So it's important that you try your best to stay informed. If you have a health problem, call 311 to find out what is going on. I still don't have the number to give. There's another number that I want to give for anybody who wants to make donations to help the emergency services, where you can deposit the money, they say, in Bank of St. Lucia. If you want, you can go there and they will inform you how to do it. So just try your best to do whatever you can, and I will continue to come out and use my energy and effort to make sure that our country is on a speedy recovery. But anything that have to do with alcohol, once you involve alcohol in it, it's likely to go in shit. Because me as a businessman, picture me, if I have my work to do there, you think I'm underneath the influence, you think I'll be able to get up and go and do my work. So this is what I want the officers to think. When you will get a lot of these drunken people on the road, try not to, you know, get yourself into much way with this type of people. Just tell them go home or talk to them, because it don't make no sense. You will just be flooding our prisons and our stations or our healthcare system with people you'll injure over petty stuff. You have to make sure you enforce that for me, Mr. Milton. All right, so take care.